Hi YouTubers, I'm up here in my photo studio. Let me adjust this a little bit. And I wanted to take a break from listing. I'm sitting actually on the table I'm doing flat lays on. So I thought I would talk about things I've learned. I've been on YouTube seriously for about, why isn't, I'll put this down a little bit. Seriously doing YouTube since last September. So about a year I've seriously been doing this. Am I crooked? Sorry. So I thought I'd come on and just put on here the things that I've learned myself just from trial and error and watching other YouTubers, other eBay sellers on YouTube, the ones that are seasoned sellers, the ones that are doing pretty well and real well. And I've adjusted in this year all different kinds of things. I've adjusted the way I take pictures. I've adjusted the way I list, the way the order in which I do things. So I thought I'd come on and just talk about that. This is this is what I do now, what I've learned and what I do. So just thought I'd talk about that a little bit. I did make some notes I'll be looking at because I can't remember anything, The basics things that I've learned is photos are of prime importance. How your photos look. Because that's the first thing people look at, of course, is the photo. Some people don't even read. I don't think they even read they might read a little bit of the description, but some things that I've gotten returned for size, the sizes were all there about the piece of clothing. So you can't go by the tags, you have to go by the size, because most of the things that I resell on eBay are used clothing. So they've been washed. Sometimes the size isn't exactly the same as it came that's inside the tag on the clothing. So you have to read the size. So anyway, I always include that on there. It's in the description down below about reading the actual measurements. But photos, lighting is so important. I just started off with daylight, using natural light. I didn't have anything when I first started. I hung things on hangers and hung them on a door, like everybody starts, I think, probably. I hung things on the door and against a like a off-white wall, and I progressed to getting umbrella lights, okay? And I've had them all along until I finally got tired of it. Just seemed like there wasn't enough light. They weren't strong enough. And the reason being is umbrella lights lets the light disperse all over the place. I mean, it doesn't direct the light right on you. I've just recently got these box lights, which I hope I can pull this over and show you. I better turn the camera. I've gotten these soft box lights. Wait, there you can see this one better. Can you see that? They're called soft boxes. And they definitely, inside that black part is like a reflective, silver reflective thing. And then they have the white cover on the front. So it directs all the light out the front. And it's a nice soft light. And just using them in this last week, I've noticed a big difference in my listings, how they're lit. Maybe only I can see it, but I'm noticing a big difference, and I'm happy. I'm really happy with these. And I did buy the ones that Rockstar Flipper suggested. And thank you, Casey. And they're working really well. I like them a lot. But now I have 4 umbrellas and 2 extra stands that I have to figure out what to use for. Maybe lighting down when I do the live hauls on my computer. I don't know. Maybe I can use 1 or 2 of them down there. So, lighting. Lighting is super important. And I, for one, like the box lights. So why not just start with those? You know, if you're new into taking your own photos for clothes, especially clothes or anything. I mean, you can do anything with these lights. So instead of, and then believe me, they don't cost much more than the umbrella lights. They were almost the same price. So it's not like they cost a whole lot more. So the other thing is mannequins versus flat laying. At first I had things on hangers, and then I was flat laying the rest of the things, like jeans, pants, and stuff. I still am flat laying on a white background, though. Flat laying like jeans and pants and things that can't be put on a mannequin, because I only have the torso mannequins. And but everything else, any tops, sweaters, suits, jackets, anything else goes on a mannequin. And I do think it looks better than flat laying. So that's just what I'm doing. A lot of people like the flat lays. I started out also with a colored background. It looked like wood. You know, it was a piece of paper, or that coated paper that hung on these racks that I have. And it was nice. I mean, I didn't dislike it. But eBay came out saying, they sort of suggested that you use a white background. It makes the things easier to search. And I have come to like the white background a lot. It's a little hard to do white things on a white background, but sometimes I'll use a colored fabric on the table and flat lay those white things. Sometimes not, but it seems to work if you have the good lighting. So I have a note here: don't lay clothes on the floor. It's another thing I started. When I very first started, you know, you just lay things down when you flat lay on a beige rug, or out on my deck I laid things. I still have a couple pair of jeans listed on there from way back that I flat laid on my deck. Doesn't look that bad, but I mean, I do everything on white now. The number of pictures that you put on. It's important to have a good amount of pictures. They allow you 12 pictures. That's a lot of pictures for normal things. Not a lot for like men's suits and things, but it's a lot for your normal tops or a pair of pants or whatever. But you should use them all. I mean, it's free. 12 pictures are free to put on your listing. So I use as many as I think it needs to show everything. Some people only show the front and the back, say, of a top. And I show the front, back, both sides, and all the tags, and all the, whether it's washable, or I show everything. So I use a lot of pictures, and they can look at them or not look at them, you know. So the other debate is do you wash your clothes? All these clothes that you get from the thrift stores or the bins or wherever you shop at, do you wash them or not wash them? I think if I had to wash all the clothes that I brought in that are washable, I probably would have quit by now. Plus, it would cost a fortune in your laundry detergent and the wear on your washing machines. And my washing machine is old to begin with, so no, I don't wash my clothes. I figured people are buying used clothing. They're going to wash it as soon as they get it, right? I would hope so. I mean, I would. So that's just my train of thought. So to iron or to steam clothes, yes, it's important if things are really wrinkled. I mean, there's some things that are just slightly wrinkled I don't. Because once you put them on the mannequin, you can sort of, you know, make them look so they're not so wrinkled. But if things are really wrinkled, yes, I either steam or iron those so they look halfway decent, you know. Because that matters, I think. The best routine for me, this is how I do things. I mean, other people do their things differently. I don't have anybody working for me, so I do all the processing of these items myself. I bring them home from where I bought them at, and then I usually do a YouTube video as I'm unbagging the things. And then the first thing I do is I cut the tags off of everything, because I have forgotten to cut tags off, and that's not good, to send your thing that you sell to your customer with a tag on there from Goodwill or someplace. So that is a no-no. So I cut all my tags off right then at that point. Then I have to take everything upstairs to this room where I have my photo studio set up, because this was the best room and the best open wall to put up this big sheet of paper to photograph on. It's very crowded in here. If I'd show you, there's a full-size bed and a rack of clothes and a dresser or a chest of drawers. So it's very, very crowded. And but I make it work. So it doesn't look, you can't tell any of that when you're taking photos. So I take the photos up here, then I take everything back downstairs that's going to be bagged and put in bins. The things that are going to be hung on hangers, my hanging things are all upstairs. So I will measure those things up here, and I'll put it all on a piece of paper of the things to list, and I hang them up. I take the rest of the things downstairs, and then I measure those out on a table. I bag them in poly bags. Everything's written about them on a tag on the bag. I weigh them. They're all ready for shipping then. So the next step then is listing. I list everything. Let me tell you, I take photos of about a dozen things at a time. I don't take all 50 things. I take like a dozen things at a time, and then I measure the dozen things, and then I list the dozen things. I do it that way because it's sort of a variety of the things that you're doing then. You know, you're measuring and you're photographing, or you're not just doing one thing at a time, one thing all day long. So I can't sit that long. I have to be up and down. So that's just how I do it. I mean, I'm sure there's people that do it the other way too, where they photograph everything at once. But there's other people have people to list their things too. It's just me, folks. When I list things, I have made templates for all different types of things. Like men's casual shirts, men's dress shirts, men's athletic wear. And I have men's pants, men's jeans, and I have shoes. I have templates for all these. And then women's tops and blouses, women's jeans, women's intimate wear, like that. So I even have different templates for women's shoes and men's shoes. I'm not sure if I'd have to do that or not, but I did. And so I just use the templates, and it makes the listing much faster than having to fill all that extra stuff out. So I list with templates. Now the other question is, buy it. Do you put I list everything as buy it now, except for ties. All my ties are auction. It's 7-day auctions on ties. And the other things that I put on auction is old inventory that's been around forever. I just lower the price way down just to move it out. So those are the only two things I put on auction anymore. The rest is all buy it now. And, whoops, excuse me. The other thing to make sure is, make sure when you're putting your number on your item that's listed, I put it right in the title. Like I'll have the number of the bin, or I'll put a H for hanging, which means it's upstairs hanging on one of the racks. I have made a mistake a few times, and one of them was that somebody just asked this morning or yesterday about, did I ever find that lion dress? And I did go on and say on YouTube that I did find it. I found it that night. I probably couldn't have gone to bed without, because somebody bought it. I could not find it. It was supposed to be hanging on a rack. It was not hanging. It was in a bin with some odd number. I have no idea why it was in there. But it was. I found it, mailed it out, and everything is fine. But that's happened like a couple other times where it was in the wrong bin, but I found it right away. So that's very scary when you sell something and you're ready to ship it out and you can't find the item, because you don't want to cancel because you can't find the item. I just recently had a mistake where I had to cancel a sales, but I don't know how this happened, because what happened is my daughter saw something that I had just posted and she said she wanted it. So I immediately ended that listing. I ended it and put it and took it off and gave it to my daughter. And evidently it was still somehow listed. I didn't catch it, that it was still on there. So, well, somebody bought it. So I knew immediately when they bought this item that it wasn't there anymore. It's at my daughter's house, and she's wearing it. So I had to write a note. I contacted the buyer and told her what happened. I refunded her money immediately, and so I hope that's okay with eBay, because it definitely was a honest mistake. I don't know how it was still on there, because I did end the item. So, as far as things I've learned about eBay selling, and I just sell clothes and shoes. I have learned by trial and error somewhat, but most of what I've learned from other YouTubers, YouTube sellers, eBay seasoned sellers. And I want to shout out some of these. Rockstar Flipper, Casey, thank you so much, because when I ask you a question, you always answer me, sooner or later. Rockstar Flipper, I watch him all the time. Endless Entrepreneurs, I watch him. That's Luke. I watch Luke all the time. He's another one that always answers your questions if you ask a question. And that's really nice. State's Place, which is Nicole. I've learned so much from her. And a Soul Advisor. That's why I started selling some shoes. I'm not into it heavily, but I have a big rack of shoes now that I am starting to sell shoes. Heart Pickers. I enjoy his YouTube videos. And Prof Sales for jeans. He sells all jeans. That's Jason and Cara. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I always want to say Cara. It's Cara. Right? Yes. Okay. Those are the ones that just came to mind. There may be some other ones too that I watch, but those are the ones that I watch the most. And I've learned a ton from them. So if you're just starting out, definitely watch the YouTube sellers. They give a lot of free advice, and they're so nice, and they want you to succeed too. You know, this isn't a contest. I mean, there's enough people out there buying clothes. It's not a contest. So there's plenty of customers out there for everybody. So I just want to tell you, I did have a home run item this morning I sold. I sold my Burberry sweater, cashmere sweater, for a little over $76. It was on sale. It had been, I think I had put it on there for $84. And it was on sale. And they bought it on sale. And I was really pleased with that sale. So that was the first Burberry sweater I had ever found. So something else I wanted, I've missed here. I wanted to talk about, not the buy it now, but the best offer. Best offer. I put best offer on a lot of my things. All the sellers that I watch on YouTube say, don't get upset when you get a lowball offer on things. But you know, I do. I find it insulting. I get upset. So sometimes if I get a real lowball offer, like if I have something on there for $24.99 and they offer me $6, what do these people think? And the other sellers say, don't get upset, just counter back $1 under what you've put it up for, and just don't take it personally. But I have to learn not to do that, not to take it personally. So I do put sometimes when I don't put the best offer on there is right after I've gotten a couple lowball offers and I'm sort of disgusted. But I try to put it on most things. And I used to be an antique dealer. I should be used to that, you know. I mean, when I went to search for antiques in estate sales and things, I offered people lower prices. So it really shouldn't upset me, but sometimes it does. I suppose just depending on my mood. I want to do an update on my animals. Maddie, the gray cat, came home, but the black little cat is still missing. She has not come home yet, and it's been over 4 days now. So I'm really upset about her. The other thing was Preacher, my horse, that was acting funny yesterday and not eating and whatever. Cost me $257 for the vet to come out and do some blood work and stuff. But anyway, he's back to completely acting normal today and scarfing down his food. So these animals, they'll just drive you nuts. So anyway, I'm going to close for now, and hope I can upload this video. Since it is a longer video, it'll be 25 minutes here in a minute. A little over 25 minutes. So I'm going to try to upload this without any problems. So I'll see you again. Bye.